Hello there everyone, UXW Bill here with you today in the great outdoors. Why have I brought all of you outdoors? Well, that would be because the outdoors is the perfect place for a product review video, especially if that product review has something to do with the exciting subject of solar power. I think solar panels are really cool, and this particular product is the Thunderbolt Magnum solar panel, 1.5 watt solar battery charger, item number 68692, available at your friendly neighborhood Harbor Freight tool store. And at present, this seems to be, at least based on a cursory examination of eBay, I didn't check anything else like Banggood or Alibaba.com or Deal Extreme or any of those sites, this seems to be, when it's on sale, the cheapest finished solar panel you can buy. And as with anything cheap or from Harbor Freight Tools, sometimes there are some caveats. I have read reports that various versions of these panels have wiring errors, from an incorrectly wired status LED all the way up to reversed polarity on the output. And speaking of the output, this particular panel comes with two options. You get a cigarette lighter style connection, which is perfectly adequate for low power usage. All the more energy that this thing can manage to supply would be adequately conveyed over the auto lighter adapter. You also get a set of battery clips. And to test this product out, I have decided to take it to the extremes, pull out all the stops, and be thoroughly mean to it by placing it inside this 1988 Buick LeSabre. Now ordinarily that would not be a mean thing to do to a battery booster, but this car has been sitting for a while, or rather a battery maintainer, and the other day when I put a voltmeter on the battery, it had dropped down to the point where it had reached about 7.5 volts. For those of you unfamiliar with lead acid batteries and things, a lead acid battery is typically considered dead around 10.5 volts, somewhere in there. Anything lower than that, and you're risking significant damage to the battery itself in the form of sulfation and similar degradation. So this battery has been well and truly dead. It's been sitting for a while because this car blew a brake line not long after I got all the engine-related issues sorted out. But let's go ahead and see what our little solar panel friend has managed to do, if anything, to this battery. We'll go ahead and power up this meter, which might be the subject of a future product review. For right now, I'll say that it's generally alright, but sometimes its controller seems to get confused about what mode it's actually in. And we'll go ahead and see if we can get a voltage reading off of the battery and a ground here. And folks, this doesn't look good. I'm guessing that either this battery is just too far down for this solar panel to do anything with, because it has been a very sunny day out here today, or that this solar panel is wired incorrectly, which I wouldn't have thought, given that when I took an open circuit voltage measurement, or a reasonable facsimile thereof, it managed to output about 20.1 volts at its terminals. I don't know what, if any, kind of regulation it might have on board. You can certainly see that it thinks it's charging the battery, or if it just counts on the battery's internal resistance to pull the charging voltage down, or takes advantage of the fact that lead acid batteries are generally tough enough that they can withstand a little bit of abuse along the way. But it's not looking very good for this product, unfortunately, because it doesn't seem to have done anything to bring up this particular battery. The sun has gone behind a cloud momentarily, but here's a look at the unloaded voltage output from this particular solar panel. To be fair in my reporting, I have to say that what I was asking this particular product to do is well beyond what its designers had in mind, quite possibly even well beyond its capabilities as we demonstrated. So while it may not be much good for this, I'm going to go ahead and give it another chance to prove itself. I'll bring the battery up on this car using a conventional battery charger such as this one, and then I will use this thing in the capacity for which it was designed, as a battery maintainer. Of course, it will take some time for me to be able to do this in a thorough manner to make sure that this unit can in fact maintain the battery. I would have some concerns about that because I think it entirely possible, especially in newer cars with greater numbers of electronics, that the standby draw from electronics in those vehicles could be more than this unit's output capability, at least its rated output capability. I haven't tried to figure out what its maximum output capability might be in terms of power or current. So for right now, unfortunately, I have to give this thing a failing grade. It's certainly no good to anyone for bringing a dead battery back up to a point where it will start a vehicle, even if you give it many hours of copious amounts of sunlight in which to do so. It just can't quite manage it. But we'll see in future how well it does as a battery maintainer. So stay tuned. This review's not over yet.